Deep in the heart of the Amazon rainforest, where sunlight barely touches the ground and every shadow feels alive, something was waiting. Not sleeping, not dead, just hidden. For millions of years, the jungle kept its secret locked beneath layers of mud, water, and silence. People walked above it, animals hunted around it, rivers flowed over it, and still nobody knew what lay underneath. Until one small discovery changed everything. What started as a routine scientific expedition would soon turn into a nightmare for imagination and a shock for science. A single piece of evidence hinted at a creature so massive, so powerful, that it made today's largest snakes look almost harmless. Bigger than an anaconda, wider than a man's chest, heavy enough to bend the land itself. But here's the twist. This wasn't a myth. This wasn't a legend told by locals around a fire. This was real. And once scientists realized what they were dealing with, one terrifying question echoed through the research camps. How did something this big ever exist, and what really happened to it? The Amazon has always been a place of extremes, endless rain, crushing heat, life growing so fast it feels aggressive. Long before humans ever set foot here, this jungle was already alive with danger. 60 million years ago, the Amazon wasn't just warmer, it was brutal. The air was thick, heavy, almost suffocating. The rivers moved slower, wider, darker. Swamps stretched for miles, creating perfect hiding places for creatures that didn't need speed, only patience. During this ancient era, reptiles ruled the food chain, mammals were small and weak, birds were still evolving, and snakes? Snakes were becoming something else entirely. Cold-blooded animals depend on heat to survive, and this world gave them more heat than they could ever need. With every passing generation, bodies grew longer, muscles became denser, bones thickened. Nature wasn't holding back, and somewhere in this pressure-cooked world, a monster was forming. The first clue came quietly. A team of researchers was studying ancient layers of earth near a remote Amazon riverbank, searching for fossilized plants. Nothing unusual, just mud, roots, and time. Then a tool struck something solid, too solid to be wood, too smooth to be stone. When the dirt was cleared away, they found a bone. At first, nobody panicked. Some thought it belonged to a crocodile. Others guessed a massive turtle. A few even laughed and said it was just part of a tree trunk turned to stone. But when the bone was measured, the mood changed. This single piece was thicker than any anaconda vertebra ever recorded, longer, heavier. What nobody expected was that this was only the beginning. More bones followed, one after another, each one larger than the last. When scientists laid them side by side with modern snake skeletons, the comparison was almost embarrassing. Anacondas, the giants of today, suddenly looked small, fragile, outmatched. That's when the truth started to sink in. This wasn't just a bigger snake, this was something on a completely different level. Using mathematical models, experts reconstructed the body from the bones. The results were terrifying. The creature stretched over 45 feet long. Its body was so wide that wrapping your arms around it would be impossible. Its weight? Over a ton, heavy enough to crush bone with simple movement. And yet, it wasn't built to chase. This creature didn't need speed, it needed silence. Here's what nobody expected. On land, a body this massive would struggle. Gravity would fight every movement. The ground would slow it down. So nature gave it something else: water. The ancient Amazon was filled with slow-moving rivers and endless swamps. Water carried the weight. Water gave balance. Water turned this monster into a perfect ambush predator. Hidden beneath the surface, only its eyes and nostrils exposed, it waited. Hours, days, sometimes longer. When prey approached the water's edge, a giant turtle, an early crocodile, even other predators, the attack came without warning. One strike, one wrap. The pressure was unimaginable.
Scientists estimate the crushing force was so powerful it could stop blood flow instantly, snapping bones before the victim even understood what was happening. No struggle, no escape. But here's where the story gets darker. This snake wasn't just powerful, it was dominant. Nothing hunted it, nothing challenged it. For thousands of years, it ruled the Amazon like an undisputed king. Every river was its territory, every swamp was its throne. So what went wrong? What nobody talks about is how fragile perfection really is. The world began to change, slowly at first. Temperatures dropped, just a few degrees. To humans, that would mean nothing. To a cold-blooded giant, it meant everything. The heat that once fueled its massive body began to fade. Metabolism slowed, digestion took longer, movement became heavier. At the same time, the jungle itself transformed. Swamps dried, rivers shifted. The wet environments that once supported its weight disappeared. And as mammals grew smarter and faster, the food supply became unpredictable. This creature wasn't built to adapt, it was built to dominate one specific world. And when that world vanished, so did it. The emotional impact of this discovery hit scientists harder than expected. This wasn't just about a snake, it was a reminder of how quickly power can disappear, how even the strongest beings can be erased by change. One moment, ruler of everything, the next, nothing but boons buried in mud. Families of researchers spent years reconstructing the story. Careers were built on it. Debates exploded across the scientific world. Some asked the unthinkable question: if conditions ever became right again, could something like this return? That question still doesn't have an answer. What we do know is this: the Amazon is still changing, still hiding secrets, still reminding us that we've only scratched the surface of what once lived here. And somewhere beneath the rivers, beneath the roots, beneath the silence, the jungle keeps watching. Because history doesn't disappear, it waits. And sometimes it waits to remind us just how small we really are.